Hey there, Patrick from Ostego here, and welcome to this second sample class from our video exercise series. Now, today's class is dedicated to Danielle from Athens. Danielle, thank you so much for being here, and congratulations on taking control of your bone health. For you and for everyone out there, today's quote of the day is from Walt Disney, who said, "The best way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing." And that couldn't be more pertinent for our classes here. So let's jump right to it. Our bridge workout for the day is an air jump rope. And we're gonna do these in a double fashion. So just air jumping rope, just like this, but I'm gonna count them every other count. That's the double. So 1, 2, 3. And we're gonna perform 15 of these, not too many. This is a great exercise. It is one of my all-time favorite bone health warm-up cardiovascular exercises for a lot of reasons, but mostly because we're activating so many bone building cells, those osteoblast cells, when we do them. So let's jump right in, 15, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right, great job. Now, we're gonna jump right into our strength exercises today. So grab your hand weights and join me for our first exercise, which is the upright row. Now, the upright row starts in a good athletic stance, as always, and grasp the weights and have your palms facing your thighs. Now, to perform the exercise, you simply pull the weight directly up against gravity up your body. And I always recommend or ask that you lead with your hands. So that term means as you're pulling the weight up your hand, as soon as you can, I'd like you to get your wrist and hand above your elbow. So that's as opposed to if you're leading with your elbow, it comes up first. I want you to lead with your hands. What that does is it opens up our shoulder joint so that we don't get an unnecessary impingement from improper form. So again, up and down, that's 1 repetition, and we're gonna perform 10. So go ahead and get into position, hands in front of your thighs, 10, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost there, and 10. That's a great one. I hope you can feel that in your shoulders. Okay, so next up is the chair dip. So if you have a chair with arms on it, go ahead and move over to that. If you don't have one of those, just perform 10 more upright rows while we're performing this exercise, and then join us as soon as we're done. Now, for the chair dip, I'd like you to sit at the front of the chair, not all the way back, we're not relaxing. So all the way up at the front. And with your hands, I'd like you to place them on the arms of the chair with your knuckles facing out. That's as opposed to your knuckles facing forward, and certainly your knuckles facing in is a no-no. And again, we do this for shoulder joint safety by rotating our hands out. It opens up our shoulder joint, so it's a safer way to perform the exercise. Now we want our hands to be in line with our body, so if you just touch the side of your body, that's where they go on the chair. Okay, now to perform it, we simply push up with our arms, lifting ourselves up out of the chair, and then slowly lowering ourselves down. Ideally, you want to let your legs just stay exactly where they are. You don't want to be pushing up with your legs. You just want to use your arms. We'll do other exercises to work our legs. So if you need to, obviously no problem at all, but the goal is to use just your arms. Okay, 10 repetitions. Go ahead and get into position, front of the chair, hands ready, knuckles facing out. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway there, and 6 and 7. And as always, if you don't have the strength, 8. Isometric exercise is great. 9. And final one, 10. And although we're done with this set, isometric means if all you can do from a strength standpoint is just push, 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 do that, because that will help increase your strength. Okay, next we're going to move to the shoulder blade squeeze. So grab either your exercise band or your towel. Now for this exercise, you stand with your, always an athletic stance, with your arms in front of you. And I'll give a little more band here so you can see it. So this is whether you have a band or towel, this is the same positioning. Now, I'm going to move a little bit more, or as much as I can, so that you can see the movement, but we're really moving our hands away from each other. So we're just moving the heel of our hand out away from our thumbs. And then we're squeezing our shoulder blades together as we do it. So you can really feel this in your upper back and the back of your deltoids, the back of your shoulders. So if you're performing this with a towel, you, as we're moving out and then back in, you will just immediately engage those muscles and pull, pull, pull as hard as you can, and then release as we come back in, and then jump right into the second repetition with us. So, okay, go ahead and hop into that stance, safe athletic stance, arms up. We're going to perform 10 repetitions, and here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. All right, great job. Now relax. I hope you can feel that. What a great shoulder exercise day we're having. Now, while everyone is catching their breath, we want to answer the question, why is weight-bearing exercise good for bone health anyway? Well, before we do that, I want to take a step back and make sure that everyone understands that our bones are constantly changing. Now, some people think that once your bones grow during childhood, as soon as they reach full size, they stay the same for the rest of your life. And that's not true. Although they do grow in size, once they're at full size, they continue to change constantly every single day throughout the rest of your life. Now, that process of change is where your bone gets broken down by certain specialized cells and then rebuilt by new cells that are bone building cells. Now, those are called osteoblast cells. Very special. That is their function within the body. Now, B in osteoblast is build, and that's how I remember it. So osteoblast cells build. In case you're curious, it's osteoclast cells that tear down bone, or you can say cut down. Osteoclast, cut down, osteoblast, build. Okay, now the osteoblast cells and this process takes place 24 hours a day. You don't have to do anything, but sometimes this process can become less efficient, and that's what leads to lower bone density. Now, there are a lot of reasons that this can happen. Aging is one of them, but there are a lot of other reasons. And we won't go into it here, but please check out our education courses on our classes page, and you'll see the classes where we discuss this in a lot more detail. Okay, but just know that this is going on constantly, and even though it can become a little bit less efficient, when we perform weight-bearing exercises, the stress of our muscle pulling on our tendon, which then pulls on our bone, triggers those osteoblast cells to work even harder to help us build bone. So not only is it great for strength and balance and flexibility, but performing exercises actually helps build bone. So there you go. Check out our other classes if you'd like more information, but we're going to get right back into our strength exercises. Okay, next up is the front knee raise exercise. So go ahead and grab your chair or move over to your chair. If you prefer a table or wall, that's obviously fine as well. And this is a leg exercise, standing like others we do with our inside leg closest to the chair, our weight-bearing leg, slight bend to the knee, and then we're simply raising our knee up in space. We're rotating at our hip so that the thigh becomes parallel to the ground, and then the rest of the leg just dangles from the knee. So coming up and then down is 1 repetition. Now, you can also add a weight to this exercise. You would hold it on the thigh and keep it in place. You don't want it moving around, but that would be up and then down. So no matter how you choose to perform it, go ahead and get into position. Choose your leg, choose your weight if you'd like. And remember to have a slight bend to the inside knee and 10 repetitions on this leg, and then we'll switch and do 10 on the other. So 10 repetitions, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost there, 9, and 10. All right, great job. Now you can just move around and face the other direction. I'm going to move the chair so I can keep facing you. But 10 repetitions on the other leg. Remember, slight bend to the knee for safety. And 10 repetitions with the other leg. And here we go. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. All right, great job there as well. Okay, next we're going to move to the squat exercise. Now the squat is something we do all day, every day. It's just a nice squatting movement when we're moving lower, safely picking something up, for instance. But with the squat, we want to be behind a chair or table for balance and hold on to it, and then we're going to slowly lower down. And the goal is to come to a 90-degree angle between our thigh and our lower leg. So that's the goal. If you're not quite there yet from either a flexibility or strength standpoint, just go as low as your strength and flexibility allows. So again, just lowering down and up is 1 repetition. If you would prefer to hold weights in your hand and not hold on to a chair as you perform it, that's okay as well. But always remember safety first. So, okay, 10 repetitions. So go ahead and stand behind the chair. Nice athletic stance. And here we go. 1 and 2. And remember to keep a nice straight spine. 3, nice and neutral. And keep that neck neutral as well. 4. All right, you're doing great. I know it. 5. And 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. All right. All right, as you're catching your breath, we're going to move over to the wall plank exercise. So go ahead and move over to the wall. Now, with the wall plank exercise, again, I prefer starting away from the wall, just standing, putting your hands straight out. And then we're simply going to put, instead of moving our hands, we're going to keep them where they were. And then we're going to collapse at the elbow. So see how we're doing that? With the push-up, we actually moved both our elbow and shoulder at the same time. With this, we're simply going to collapse our elbows down the wall, and we're almost going to stay, you know, like we were holding ourselves up off the ground if we were lying on the ground. Okay, so moving down, and the term plank comes from the plank-like position our body is in. Ideally, you want to be in a straight line from your shoulder through your hips to your ankle. Now, there are a lot of different ways to perform the plank. We are going to do a hold of the plank. So we're just going to move down, and then I'm going to count to 10. And then we're going to move back up, take a quick rest, and then perform a second 10 count plank as well. So later on, we'll move up, we'll mix it up. Sometimes we'll do actual repetitions of plank, but here we're doing 2 10-second holds because we're just getting used to it. Okay, so go ahead and put your arms out. And again, as always, if you want to move your feet in closer to the wall, it's a little bit less challenging. And the further away from the wall you move your feet, the more challenging it is. Okay, but as a good starting point right here at arm's distance, let's go ahead and remember, engage your core exercise. And let's go ahead and come down. And 1, 2, 3, holding 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, engaging that core, 9, and 10. Okay, now just push back up off the wall. I say leave your hands where they are, but if you want to take your hands down for a second, that's okay too, but we're going to go right back to it. So next repetition, and here we go. Lowering down, and 1, 2, 3, engaging that core, 4, 5, this is a core exercise for sure, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, now push yourself back up to vertical, and we're all done with that. Okay, next, our last strength exercise, our last core exercise is called the warrior stand. Now, this is a modified yoga exercise, so those of you who have done yoga before or still do yoga will recognize it. But from a standing position, we're simply going to take a step out into space. And as always, if you would prefer to have a chair beside you while you perform this, no problem at all. Now, once we get to here, with a foot out in front of us, we're going to bend this front knee, and ideally we want the front of our knee to match up with the front of our toe, right? So this is the position, and then we're going to slowly raise our hands up in space, and we're going to hold this position for 20 counts. Okay, so again, we're going to move up and then move out. So arms up and then lean forward. Okay, so if you've never done this before, don't worry, it may feel awkward, but you will get the feel of it right away. We are engaging our core the entire time. No movements here other than moving into position. And I'll count for us. So here we go, arms up and move forward, and 1, 2, 3, engage that core, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, hold it still, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right, great job. You should hopefully feel that through your abdominal, possibly your lower back, and for sure your legs. Okay, so now we're just going to switch legs. So standing position, step forward, and we're going to jump right into it. So hopefully my talking gives you a chance to catch your breath, but go ahead and arms up and then leaning forward for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, great job, 11, 12, 13, engage that core, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right, now slowly raise back up. And that's the last of our strength exercises. Finally, we're going to move to 2 stretches. Now, we're borrowing another yoga pose here. So today's our yoga theme. So we're going to do a combination of a standing baby cobra, and also we're going to then also stretch the top of our ankle. Especially with stretches, I really like to get as much bang for the buck as we possibly can. So whenever I can combine a few different stretches together, we'll absolutely do that. So a good example is, so a cobra pose really looks like this. If you can imagine the cobra sticking his head up when he's alerted or she's alerted, and you're holding it just like this. So this is a really good stretch to your spine. Now, when we discuss spine safety, We want to make sure we don't bend forward at the spine. However, the reason for that is because that can cause a forward compression of the vertebrae. Because of the way the vertebrae bend, doing a back bend or slowly and moderately bending your back is not only okay, it's actually really good from a flexibility and strength standpoint to keep as much flexibility in your spine as you can. Okay, so here's the baby cobra pose. While we're doing that, we're going to take one foot and simply turn it over, and then we're going to press down, and we're stretching the top of our ankle right here, something that doesn't get stretched almost ever. So again, we're coming down. And I didn't cover this, but for the baby cobra, you want to start about arm's length away from the chair in a nice athletic stance, and then just lean forward and then drop your pelvis into it. Okay, so nice and safe, nice and easy there. And once we're there, let's go ahead and flip that foot over and move right into our first repetition. So let's go. So first repetition, as always, with our abdomen and our spine, we're just concentrating on stretching and letting gravity pull us down and not letting our arms hold us up. And then with our ankle, we're pressing down so that we're flexing and stretching the top of our ankle by using our leg muscles. Okay, so let's relax just a little bit. And I just like to come back up so that my weight is firmly on my non-ankle stretching leg. Let's go right back into our second repetition. Remember, we're going to the point of resistance, and then a little bit beyond that into the uncomfortable zone. So never into the pain zone and never fast movements. Slow and easy for about 20 seconds in each repetition. All right, so let's come right back up. Take a quick, slow break, and then move right into our third repetition. So we're holding ourselves up, stretching the top of that ankle. As always, if you are not in the same position I am, that's okay. As long as you're safe, we want to make sure that you're in a position that matches your strength and flexibility. So if you're closer to the chair, that's fine. If you're a little bit further away, that's fine as well. Okay, so coming back up, now I'm putting both feet under me, and then I'm swapping feet for the ankle stretch. Okay, so foot where it is. Now I'm allowing gravity to take my pelvis towards the ground and towards the chair, and I'm stretching that. First repetition, here we go. And the top of the ankle is something that hardly ever gets stretches, but it's very vital for stability and strength from a walking and locomotion standpoint. So we will do a lot of ankle stretches throughout the course of our video series. Okay, so relaxing just a little bit. And then we're coming back to that next repetition on our ankle. All right. And you can, if you can see my ankle, you can slowly move that around to move and stretch slightly different parts of your ankle. You want to feel your body and understand where you're tight, so that's okay. But never move quickly and never have any bouncing movements. Those are called ballistic movements, and they're very bad for you, and they can cause problems and injury. Okay, so we're slowly coming back up. We always want to be slow and steady with flexibility. And then we're moving finally into our third and final repetition. And remember, you're not going to gain flexibility immediately overnight with one set of exercises. All right, let's go ahead and relax. Now you will feel immediate results, which is the fun part of stretching. But just understand that it took our entire lives to get into the shape we're in. It's going to take a little bit to really increase our flexibility to the point that we want to be. But that's our class for the day. Thank you so much for joining us in this second sample class. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope that you'll join us in our first full series, which you'll find on our list of classes as well. And I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you will invite a friend, because it is so much more fun to have someone doing exercise with you. Even if you're not in the same place, you can talk about it, you can keep each other accountable, and make sure that you're coming back day after day. Okay, so let's finish as we always do. Arms out, 3 deep breaths in, 1 at a time, of course. First breath in and out. Second breath in and out. And then third breath in and out. And then bring those arms around, a little back squeeze for flexibility, and give yourself a hug, of course. A little self-love is always fantastic. And I'll just say thanks again for being here. Thanks again for loving yourself enough to take control of your health and your fitness. And a final reminder of our quote of the day from Walt Disney, who said, "The best way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing." So thanks so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in our next class. We'll see you there.